Okay, so we talk about order of operations. Now we're combining that with signed numbers. If you recall back, okay, our order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division as you get to them, left to right, and then we have addition and subtraction. Also, as you get to those, left to right. So we have to take those into consideration as we do our problems. So our problems then dictate what we go. So let's do a problem. Let's say I have 16 plus 32 divided by a negative 4. So as you can see, we've got multiple steps here. If we just go left to right, you're not going to get the right answer because we have to follow our order of operations, which says division comes first. All right, so we're dividing opposite signs. And when we do that, we end up with negative 8. And we get 16 out front. 16 minus negative 8, or 16 plus a minus a negative 8, gets us 8. And that was kind of a fairly simple one, right? So let's try a little bit tougher one. Let's do one with some fractions in it. So, or is a fraction. Let's go 24 divided by negative 3 minus quantity of 6 minus 2. And then let's take that all over negative 5 times 4, and let's add 8 to it. All right, so now we can do top or bottom, doesn't really matter which. I always like to do kind of top first. Parentheses comes first, so the 6 minus 2 becomes 4. Everything else drops. So the negative, this negative 3 in parentheses, and 24 divide. So let's just keep going with the denominator. 24 divided by negative 3 becomes negative 8. We also have that negative 4. Everything else just drops. And so this guy becomes negative 12. So now let's go back and do our denominator. Our denominator here, multiplication comes first, so a negative times a positive is a negative 20. And everything else drops. And then we have the difference between their absolute values is 12. Sign of the larger is negative, which gets us a negative 12. And anything divided by itself simplifies as 1. So if we break this guy down into smaller steps, things go much quicker, much easier. And one more, because this is one that everybody really, really likes because it's decimals, it's not fractions, and then they end up getting it wrong anyway. So let's take the quantity of 1½ squared plus the quantity of negative 1 9/10 times the quantity of 2 5/10. All right, well, if you remember, the exponent here, 2, applies to this quantity. So I have actually 2 of these 1½ times each other. And if we're multiplying decimals, we've got to remember our rules there, which means 15 times 15 gets me 225. And then I have 1.5 times 1.5. I actually have 2 digits behind, which means I have a decimal right there. Plus, so my exponents fall first, then my multiplication. When I'm multiplying a negative times a positive, I get a negative. And 19 times 25 is 475. And 2 digits behind, which I already put my decimal at 2 digits. There's 1, there's 2. Now I have the difference between 475 and 225, which is 2½. Sign of the larger, well, 4 is larger than 2, therefore this answer is a negative. So as we're doing order of operations, please make sure you're doing order of operations, parentheses, exponents, and then multiplication, division as you get them left to right, and the same with addition, subtraction as you get to them left to right.